everybody, how you doing? It is Freekbass. Thanks for joining me. Hope everybody's been having a great week. And I don't know if you were tuned in last, I think it was about 4 or 5 days ago. I had gotten this big package that was sitting on my front door. And it was a big package from ESP Guitars and Basses. And so we did a little bit of an unboxing. And out of that box came this magical thing right here in my hand right now, which is the ESP LTD GB-4 bass, which, I'm going to talk about it in just a second here, but I'm going to do a little review of it today. You heard me playing a little bit at the beginning of this. So I'm going to give you a review. This is my first time really kind of giving it a big test drive. I've played it a little bit in the studio here and there, but I've been really kind of digging into everything tonight. So first impressions. This thing is, I love it. It's great. Let me tell you why. Here's the thing. Whenever I get a new bass, the very first thing I do, and I sent this over, Tony and Jeff are both the amazing people at ESP that got in contact with me about doing something with them. And thanks again, guys. And so whenever I get a new bass, the very first thing I do is, before I even plug it in, is I play it and kind of see if the bass talks to me. And it sounds like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about, Freekbass? It sounds crazy. Well, it is kind of like that. And what I mean by that is if I can write on it, if I can write a groove on it, if it feels comfortable to write a groove, and it feels like this is something that I could play, feel comfortable playing, not that I'm forcing myself to play. Well, before I even plug this thing in, I had written like 10 different grooves, 10 different songs with this bass right here. And one of the big reasons is because it all, with every bass, the big thing that always, for me, it all starts with the neck. And that's what this is. The second I pick this up, that's the first thing I check before I do anything, check any electronics, any of that kind of stuff. I'm like, what does the neck feel like? Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this neck is amazing. It's so, obviously it's very reminiscent of a jazz bass, a Fender jazz bass. I'm a jazz bass fanatic, always have been. And, you know, even down here in the dimensions down here feel very much like a jazz. Obviously, it's got the block inlays, like kind of like a jazz. So to me, what I love about this bass, besides the feel of it, is and the neck, which we're going to get into a little bit more here in a second. But also, you know, one of the reasons I like jazz basses is because they span. You hear them on so many albums across, you know, whatever genre of music you listen to. And this bass is really nice because it's kind of got a lot of what I think a lot about with what I do with music, at least like the funk, my approach to like the funk. And it's kind of taking some of the old and kind of pushing it into the forward with the new, into the future. And that's kind of how this bass is. It's got very classic elements to it, that feels classic, not just by the way it looks, but I'm talking about more about the way it plays. But also it's got this kind of, obviously visually, as you can see, it's got like a very kind of futuristic kind of thing about it too, which, you know, me, I love that kind of stuff. And so yeah, it's, you know, so far I'm really digging this a lot. And again, going back to what I said about the neck is such, it just feels so good playing it. It's just the action, it's not too low, but not, because sometimes you get some of the new basses, and for me, like the action almost gets so low that when you play it at first, you're like, whoa, this is incredible. It's like driving a Ferrari. But I like to have to, but it almost becomes too easy to play. I know it's almost kind of an oxymoron me saying that, but I like really working for my note. You know, I mean, I play hard, I pull it, and both, not just in thumping, but even when I'm doing finger style. And this thing, as you hear, it's not, I mean, it sounds great for thumping, of course, but also It feels very good for fingerstyle playing too as well, which I love. I love where the pickup is located. This is another nice thing, very important thing for me too as well, is where the pickup is located, because that's where I rest my thumb when I'm doing fingerstyle. I like it kind of right here, and that's about where it is. If you notice on some of my other basses, you'll notice it's kind of the same kind of thing on those as well. So yeah, so again, overall first impressions, really, really dig it. Of course, I love the color. This is a great color, this seafoam green. So basically what's going on is I'm going to start working with the ESP, and we're going to do some stuff together, and this is going to be kind of this bass, the GB-4 is going to be kind of like the blueprint of what we're going to do moving forward with. I'm going to kind of do a couple little alterations here and there to give it a little bit more of a Freekbass vibe. But I mean, we're pretty close. We're getting definitely in the ballpark here. I love the bridge right here. I love all the hardware. Obviously, you see it's got the Seymour Duncan pickups on it. My favorite thing is here, it's got the active electronics on it. You have so many options for EQ settings. And what I like is that it's got this push-pull switch. So here's without the pull. But when you pull the switch out, gives you a little bit more of kind of a almost like a smiley face kind of EQ kind of thing when you pull this switch out here, this pull knob right here. Yeah, so it's very, very comfortable weight wise. I mean, I'm sitting here lifting with one hand and I'm not struggling at all. It feels very comfortable, which is good for me because I like throwing it across the stage. Don't worry, ESP, I'm going to be careful with this one, I promise. And it just feels it's solid. It's again, thumping style wise. Feels great, finger style wise. I do a style a lot. I talk a lot about, you probably hear me if you turn in the bass talk on any kind of regular basis. I do something a lot I call the hard mute bounces, where I'm not fully pressing down on the fingerboard, and it kind of gives a more of a clavinet kind of feel to it. And this I'm doing it right now on this bass, and it just feels totally natural. Also, a very important thing for me too is this area right here, to where, because that's what I do my thumping and my double thumb stuff. So if it's too high, or your thumb and your fingers get too caught inside of there, or other side, if it's too low, you can't get under there and like I said, I play hard, so I like digging in, but you don't want to get it to where you feel like you're getting stuttered. So if I'm just doing kind of straight, almost like a James Brown kind of line. So yeah, my overall review and first impressions of the ESP LTD GB-4 bass is awesome. I really dig it a lot. I think you're going to see this thing out on the road with me when we do get on the road finally, which will happen sometime. You're going to see this out on the road with me too, some version of this. And if you're looking for a bass that's it's good for thumping. This is a really good one, and good for fingerstyle too as well. It's just overall, I mean, it just feels, like a good solid bass. I love, me. I love like the visual, and I love things looking, which I love with this. But at the same time, it's like it's got to be practical, and it's got to be where you can, if you're doing when you're doing a session, no one's going to see what it looks like. It's got to sound good, And this one, can't wait to start laying down some tracks with this one too as well. So yes, a big winner, big thumbs up. This is going to be super fun to start playing live. Again, thank you to ESP. Thank you to Tony and Jeff over at ESP. And looking forward to making a lot more sounds with this, which I will be doing coming in the future. And that's it. So check it out. ESP GB-4. You're going to see Freekbass playing this thing a lot. Thank you to ESP. Thank you for tuning in. And let me know what you think. You know, leave a comment. And if you've played one of these or if you have any questions to me about it, I will gladly answer. I hope everybody's having a great week. Love you all very much. Thanks for coming out and hanging out with me. See you soon. Bye.